I would like to give to the hosts of this great event, who happens to be the University Librarian of Samuel Adegboyega University Library. He's my boss and is no other than Dr. Emmanuel Ajala, the University Librarian of Samuel University. Sir, can we have your remarks, sir?
Well, I appreciate everybody who is on the line today. We had a very nice time yesterday, even though there are a lot of technical issues, either from South Africa and Nigeria. But still, the comment that you receive is that many people were greatly enriched by the lecture of Dr. Sonya Gumbiade. And we look forward to another very wonderful experience today from our facilitator from Nsukka, who I know is a competent man who will be able to do justice to the matter of today. One of the things I believe we are going to learn from today's workshop is how to assess our students online. A lot of things we have seen in the online assessment from many private universities in Nigeria, especially during pandemic period, which our own university cannot copy, because we discovered that there are a lot of things that are not perfect with the online assessment of many universities, which we believe if we are able to collaborate and put our heads together, we are going to correct today. It is one thing for us to give an online lecture to students and be able to talk to them without physical touch. But at the same time, in a situation like this that we find ourselves, there is need for us to start thinking of how do we assess our students online, because we may not know for how long we are going to stay in this type of situation. And it may not even be this situation, some other situation might come up. That's the need, that's the reason why we need a workshop like this. And I believe we are going to give ourselves the opportunity to learn as much as we can. And I believe the knowledge will not be a wasted knowledge. I want to thank Dr. Agumbiade and Mr. Sylvester for availing themselves for this workshop. We in this university, we are still looking forward to a much robust research work and other sharing of knowledge with our colleagues within and without. And I believe today we are not going to waste your time. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajala. Thank you for that comprehensive welcoming remark, and we appreciate you. We also appreciate the Vice Chancellor, who is the chief host of this event, the Vice Chancellor of Samuel Adegboyega University, Professor Ebhonu. He was with us yesterday and is the chief host of this event. And like I did mention, this workshop is organized by Samuel Adegboyega University Library. And it's our privilege to share knowledge and to see that we bridge the digital gap, so as everyone, both staff and students, can effectively use the digital technologies for both learning and assessment. So without much ado, first of all, I would like to encourage everyone, please let's mute our mic, and please let's not try to share our screen. The only person who will be sharing the screen now will be the facilitator, whom I'm going to introduce now. So, but before then, I would like to encourage everyone, please, in order for us to have a smooth and issue-free section, I want to encourage us to mute our screen. Starting from Sunny. Sunny, please, you have to mute your screen. You have to mute yourself so that the noise from your background will not distract the class. So without much ado, I would like to introduce our facilitator for today. He is no other than Sylvester Ebhonu. Sylvester Ebhonu is a certified librarian of Nigeria with over 7 years of experience. He is currently the University Library Coordinator of Admiralty University of Nigeria. He is usually called the digital librarian for his delivery of cutting-edge information. Mr. Sylvester Ebhonu also has facilitated numerous seminars, campaigns, and workshops with participants over 10,000. He is also a compiler of books, and he has compiled, among his compilation is the Let's Communicate book, which is a book that focuses on a life of purpose. Mr. Sylvester Israel Eremosele Ebhonu is happily married and is blessed with purpose-driven a daughter rather. When he is not busy attending to patrons, he engages in multimedia activities. He likes bole and fish. So without much ado, I would like to hand over now to our facilitator, Mr. Sylvester, who will be taking it over from here to take us through how we can explore Google Classroom. So Mr. Sylvester, it's over to you, sir.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Sylvester.
All right, thank you very much. I want to officially and once again acknowledge that this is a very great opportunity, and I want to say a very big thank you to the university librarian. Today, I'm going to quickly be exposing us to some emerging technologies for teaching and online student assessment. But our focus will be on Google Classroom. And however, while we're using Google Classroom, we're going to be navigating and exploring other resources. First of all, just like I did in the first batch, I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the university librarian and even the Vice Chancellor of the Samuel Adegboyega University. And also, I also want to acknowledge the roles librarians are playing since the post-COVID-19, the pre-COVID-19, and during the period. We are currently collaborating to upskill humanity, and I really appreciate this opportunity extended to us at the Admiralty University of Nigeria Library. So thank you once again. So let's now dive into why we are here. Omorodion, we can get me right and see my slide, right? Hello?
Yes, but I will need you to stop presenting and restart again. Somebody attempted to. We can see your slide, but I'll need you to restart again. Just restart your sharing.
Okay, I'll do that now. So, stop screen sharing. But the person is still sharing his or her screen. I think Messi. Hello?
No, that stopped. That stopped. You can continue. I've already stopped.
Okay, so you can see my screen now, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So, I was about to say that everything that I'm going to share with you here today, none of them would be something new. Everything I'm going to expose academic staff here present today are concepts, are ideas, and information that you must have heard before. And if you are here and you're thinking of jotting something down already, I need us to bear in mind that nothing actually is new, just as Marie Antoinette once quoted. What we actually have right now, we're experiencing, is a memory gap and not a generation gap. Today we're talking about COVID-19 and the pandemic and nose mask wearing, but then same thing happened during the Spanish flu. And 100 years later, this is what we're experiencing at the moment. Some people say this is the new normal, but it is not actually the new normal. It has already happened before. The only thing that happened, what happened in between, is that we actually forgot. There is nothing new except what has been forgotten. So whatever you hear today now, one of the things that may make it not very relevant in future is when we don't do anything about it. So my advice is, please, whatever you learn here today in this workshop, practice it and use it to improve your academic activities. So right into what we are doing today. What are the tools and the skills that we need for academic activities? First of all, I'm going to mention just 2 skills, and they are actually soft skills. I think the strong skill is the Google Classroom itself. But for now, what I think academic staff and educators actually need is the ability to think outside the box. Now, as a lecturer, for instance, what I'll be teaching everyone here today, they may just be my method, but when you have the ability to think outside the box, you are able to turn these applications, these technologies into what you want to solve the particular problem that you experience where you are. Also, emotional intelligence is needed to carry out online teaching. Now, why is this needed is because the students that you are teaching, some of them, you can't see them, you can't see their expression, you don't even know whether they are understanding you or not. Some of them may just be looking at you via that video conferencing, and they don't understand what you're saying, but when you ask, do you understand, they'll say yes. So we actually need to be emotionally intelligent to be able to know how best to communicate, to know when these students are following what we are doing. When you give out a test, you know how best they understand how to take that test. Other skills that will be needed so that you can really maximize the use of Google Classroom is the collaborating and video conferencing skills. And lastly, your ability to create e-presentations. As a lecturer, I know some of us, we have handouts already, but then this calls for you taking your teaching online and utilizing emerging technologies. It requires you to learn how to turn your handout or your course materials into slides that are very easy to connect with, slides that are very easy to understand, possibly with videos where necessary. Now, for instance, this is the tool that we are going to be considering today. While I've mentioned the skills that we need, the tools that we need, one of them is Google Classroom. And with this, you can do everything that you need to do as a lecturer. And I'll prove that to every one of us here today. Omorodion, please, are we still together? Hello?
Yes, we are together, Mr. Sylvester.
Okay. So just
yes, we are together. I can hear you.
Okay. Just so that when I start the practical session, and please mind you, I'm not going to be doing a lot of slide presentation. I only have about 10 slides to share with you here, and then we'll go practical. So, but then I just want to give you some helpful tips while we go ahead. With these emerging technologies, as academics, you need to, first of all, for instance, you are starting a video conferencing meeting or a lecture or a class, always try to get your agenda clear. This helps for time management. And also, there's something else you need to do. For instance, before this meeting starts, Omor has tried to engage me in a test or rehearsal before we actually started this webinar. And since that test, we've been having network issues beyond our control. And always try your best not to host all these things alone for the first time. Seek help to get through all this. Then be intelligent emotionally. I already talked about this before. Then number 3, use clear explanatory slides for your course materials. Use videos if possible, just like what I'm doing right now. Then, for instance, look into the camera. You see the way I'm looking at you through this camera now. If you can see me, that is when you are not giving a slide presentation. Avoid just looking at your screen. If you are doing a video presentation, look directly into your camera. It helps to build this eye contact with your participants. Then also, as a learner, there is something we all need to also just take note of. These are just helpful tips that helps the online experience exciting. Always participate and eliminate distractions. Like I was trying to talk about emotional intelligence. I've organized classes sometimes, which I had to correct, where students may be in a shop. They're actually selling. You're actually teaching them online, and then one person is in the shop trying to negotiate business. That person is not concentrating in the class. The online experience will not be exciting if we do not eliminate distractions and mute our microphone, especially when you're not speaking. Then lastly, we all need to develop email checking and responding habits. In the course of this workshop online right now, you are going to be needing to check your email. It's a practical session, so don't think I'm only going to be presenting. I'm going to be sending some links. You are going to be clicking on those links, and then I'm going to send you an assessment or a test, and then you are going to answer the questions, and then I will mark it, and then I'll show you your scores. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. So without further waste of time, let us get practical. So the first thing I need to do about Google Classroom, I want to learn more about Google Classroom. If you see this site on your screen right now, www.edu.google.com. So let's go to that link first of all to access our Google Classroom. So that's what I will do now. Hello? Are we together? Omo, you can hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Okay. So first of all, let's go to www.edu.google.com. Pardon the network. All right, everybody, Google for Education has a lot of exciting products, and one of those important products is what we are about to learn more about today, and one of those products is Classroom. Classroom is a free and easy tool that helps educators efficiently manage and assess progress while enhancing connections with learners from school. Even when we talk about school, most people who use this a lot are primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. And for you to actually enjoy Classroom, you need to actually purchase a G Suite account. Though it's saying G Suite account is free here right now, G Suite account is only free for some institutions. Now, if you click on this option, it will give you access to see the registration process. You can see here that G Suite for Education is free for eligible institutions. You have to pay a particular amount, which you may need to confirm. But then there's something that is really special about this. With Google Classroom, if you have a Gmail account, you have access to the features of Google Classroom. Those are just one of the apps in your Google account. So Google Classroom can help you as a teacher add students to your class, which is normal in a physical setting. Also, you can set up a class, teach your students, and send them course materials with Google Classroom. This option here that says you can easily communicate with guardians and automatically send them updates is actually not very available to the free users of Google Classroom. Also, with Google Classroom, you are able to measure the progress your students are making, and with the new feature of Google Classroom rubrics, you are able to score students and access students. All this I'm going to be teaching today, and please permit me to save us this grammar, and let's just go right into Classroom. So I'm going to click Go to Classroom. On your browser, if you want to try this by yourself, just type classroom. Let me just start from the beginning. Type classroom.google.com. So I'll close this. So typing classroom.google.com on your browser takes you immediately to the Google Classroom environment. And in my Google Classroom I already have some classes, like there are students I'm actually teaching online already. But what I'm currently doing, I'm trying to clear my classroom environment so that I'll take this lecture from beginning, so that you see how it actually is from scratch. Please pardon the internet delay. Oh. Okay, should I say it's almost the same as deleting your classroom. So now, this is what you will see as a first-time user. There is no class right now for you. You don't have any class at all. So the process is this. Once you go to classroom.google.com as a lecturer or as an educator, you want to take your class digital. So you click on this plus sign. It asks you to create a class, and then you create a class. You agree with Google's terms, and you name your class. So in a physical class setting, let's assume one of the lecturers or academicians who are present here in this workshop today is a use of library lecturer. Excuse me. You are a use of library lecturer. So your class will be GST 107, for instance. We'll call it use of library and ICT skills. All these don't matter right now. It's something you can actually edit later. So you click on create. Just let's create a class first of all. So it takes a couple of seconds, and then your class will be created. Okay, voila. The class is created. Now, if you look at the top left corner of your class, you see that there's a code here. With this code, if you send this code to your students will be able to join your class, like you are admitting students into your class. Now, we're looking at a physical scenario. When students come into gaining admission into the school, the course advisor or they do their course registrations and do their screening, and then they are fixed into a department and assigned to a lecturer or a course. So this is what we are actually doing now. So I'm going to open another browser where I'm going to be using for the students' end of the view. So I'm copying this code right now, and I'm opening another browser. So as a student, this is what I would do as a student to access my lecturer's class, because my lecturer just sends me the code. But then let me demonstrate how you can send this code to your students. If, for instance, some of us in this workshop, do not have do not use WhatsApp Web, please try to use WhatsApp Web, because it will help you in communicating with your students. All you need to do is go to www.web.whatsapp.com. So as you can see, I actually communicate using my web.whatsapp here. So I'm going to send a message now to Omorodion with this code saying, "Dear students, please use the link, the code above to access your GST 107 class at www.classroom.google.com." So the student seeing this knows already what to do. So the student goes to his or her browser and types, according to what the lecturer said, classroom.google.com. .google.com, and then the student enters this code. The student enters this code, he clicks on join a class, and he enters the code, clicks on join, and automatically this student is admitted into your classroom. But then let's go back to the lecturer's side of the view, and then I'm going to be explaining what you see in a normal classroom. In this stream area, just like you have on Facebook, this is the part, the area where students are able to see updates that are going on currently in the class. So in the class, let's now think of what are the first things that you do as a lecturer in your class. You probably you get your course material ready, and then you fix a class. Those are the first two things. So let's start with that. So first of all, I'm going to get my material ready for the students so that when they come into the class, they are able to access the material. So you click on classwork. When you click on classwork, you create a topic. Now, why do you need to create a topic? Because your topic has to do with, it helps you to organize what you do for the students. Clicking on topic, now I will title this my topic, number 1, week 1. Week 1, I'm going to teach my students introduction. Week 1 will be an introductory class, history of libraries. And then I'll say add. Then also I'm going to look at creating another extra week because I would like to plan for a week ahead. It helps me to stay ahead of the students. So I'm going to create another topic, week 2. And I'm going to call this definition and types of libraries. I may also call this introduction 2. And then I'll create. So in my first week, what do I intend to do with my students? First of all, I intend to share the course material with them. So I'll click on create. And if you see the things you can actually do in a classroom, you can actually give your students assignments. You can actually set a test for your students. And please take note, this quiz assignment could also represent your mid-semester test. It could represent your, like I explained to the first batch that took this training, you can also use this to conduct exams, especially once you strategically plan this. With Google Classroom, depends on your student size, you will be able to conduct a normal exam, which you can supervise, and there won't be room for these cheating issues. You'll be able to solve all that. I'm going to show you all that in practical today. But right now, I want to create a material for my students to start with. So I'll click on material. When I click on material, it takes me to another smaller window, and it asks me what material am I uploading. The title of the material is History of Libraries. History of Libraries. And then I'll always put a description for your students to help them understand what you are doing, because just like you're going through this training now, it's possible that some of these students may not have access to this training, but with clear descriptions, they will know what to do at every point of the way. So in the description area, I'll say, dear students, please download the attached PPT file, that is PowerPoint file. It is your course material for week 1 for GST 107 week 1. So after putting that clear description, I'll come here. Okay, all students. All my students right now, I have 2 students already because Omorodion has joined, so I'm seeing 2 students already. So I need to add my course material for the students now. So I'll click on add because the file is in my computer and not on my Google Drive. I will locate the file where it is on my computer. So I'll say upload, browse, go to my computer, my documents, and I'll search for GST 107 module 1. Please, are we still together?
Yes, we are still together, Mr. Silva.
All right, good. So now, okay, now I just uploaded a material here, and you can see it. So what I need to do now, I need to assign this material to a particular topic. Is it going to be week 1 or week 2? So here I program it to be for week 1 and to all my students. Then I'll say post. Once I post, all my students will have access to this material. But there is something I failed to do. If you see now, under week 1, the material is here. So all students who are eligible, who are in my class right now, they have access to this material. But there's something I need to do right now to get us all engaged. See this part that says people. This is what you do to populate your class, which I did not do at first. I'm supposed to populate my class before I start sharing materials. So right now, I'm going to show you a different way of populating your classroom, only your eligible students. So if you are in this workshop right now and you can hear me, type your email address in the chat section so that I can add you as one of my students so that we can make this practical more interesting. So just type your email. I'm going to copy it right now and then we shall proceed. I can't see emails. Oh, good. So I think, okay, decency. Oh, wow. Are you sure I can copy from here? The emails are pumping in. I can't seem to catch any. All right, I caught one. So once you get an email, what you do is you click on this button here that says invite students. Once I click on invite students, it asks me to type a name or email address of the student. So I'm going to insert the email of this person, Chin Woods. Then I'm going to go back again and copy another person's email, Liberty. I'll copy that person's email and then I'll put that, you just paste all the emails. We're trying to populate our classroom. Then I'll click on invite. So the 3 persons I just added, if you check your email, you need to accept this, you need to join this class officially. Because if you can see right now, my students are Omorodion and this person here. So these 3 people I just invited, their status is still invited. They are not yet my students. But then there's a better and faster way to invite students into your class. Let me show it to you. You see this gear button here. Click on this gear button, which is the settings button, and scroll down. You will see something that says invitation link. It is the link to join your classroom. I believe you can also see the code there. So copy this link and send to the people you believe are your classroom, are your students. Because if you send it to any other person, they may just join your class even though they are not your students. So right now, I'm going to paste this link in this chat box with assumption that everybody here is my student. So I will say, dear students, click this link to join GST 107 class for the semester or for the session, for the semester. So, my dear very senior colleagues, please can you click on the link and have access to my classroom immediately. This, you don't have to send email, you don't have to verify anything. Once you click on that link, it takes you, you are now one of the students of my class. So that's another option. So let me now go to, I'm going back to, I've not seen anybody join you. Click, good. You see now, Inni Adinya is now one of my students. Somebody just clicked on the link. You can see, immediately you click and you join, you see my students will beginning to increase. So that's how to do that. So I'm going back to my classwork. Or first of all, let me go to my stream so that you see what happens in my stream. In my stream here, you see that people who are my students will be able to see an alert here that their lecturer, Mr. Sylvester, posted a new material titled History of Libraries. So as a student, you seeing this alert, you are prompted to click on it. If you click on it, it shows you the full details that, dear students, please download the attached, and then immediately you say, wow, my lecturer has given me the course material for this class. So immediately you click on that course materials, the material for the course opens, which is GST 107, which I uploaded for my students, and this is the course material. You can see what I meant by the need for... Hello? Somebody wants to say something. Please mute your microphone. Please mute your microphone so I can continue. Omorodion.
I'm muting him already.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going back to my classes now, which is here. So that's how a student can actually access their course material. But then I want to show you something else to let you know that you cannot only do one course. As a lecturer, I'm aware that some lecturers have up to 3 to 5 courses that they do. And so with Classroom, you are able to manage all this. Now, there's something I did not say. With Classroom, as a lecturer or an educator, I promise you, you may not have to do anything that has to do with paper. You may not have to touch any paper as a classroom when you are using Classroom or online learning. So, for instance, I'm a lecturer and I'm having 3 other courses. I can easily come here, go back to my classes, and see. You see, I only have one class here, this is the only class I currently take. I click on classes, I'll click on this plus sign again, and then I can create an extra class. Let's assume I was also assigned to take entrepreneurship class, which is entrepreneurship 101, which is entrepreneurship. You can create that class. Once you create that class, Google Classroom automatically gives it another color and another theme to make you be able to differentiate it. You can see it here now. So all your classes just begins to arrange here for you. So you are able to identify your students, because students who take GST 1007 may not be taking Entrepreneurship 101. So you are able to send particular links to each student, and you are able to manage each student with their course material, with their tests and assessments, grading them automatically, etc. So now back to where we were talking about the classwork. So now we have created, let's go back to, we're in GST 107, not entrepreneurship. In GST 107, we have created a material. But please, I need to confirm. Let me see my students. My students have increased to 18. Yes, beautiful. I really love every one of you. Can I look at your faces again? You are beautiful. Wherever you are, can you clap for yourself? Please clap for yourself now. You are great students. And I have the opportunity to admit you as one of my students today. It's a very great opportunity. And I hope you are able to pass my test, because I'm going to be asking some questions and I will grade you. Okay. So, let's now continue to classwork. So once I have my students and I have my material, the next thing I need to do as a lecturer is fix a class or use the university's timetable and then hold a class. Now, what do I mean by holding a class? I cannot meet my students in person. So I need to set up a video conferencing platform. And right from here in Classroom, you can set up Meet, which is Google Meet. You can hold a class online and share your screen just like we are doing right now. So I will set up a class using Google Calendar. I'm going to click on Google Calendar. And according to the timetable, I can set my meeting to hold every Wednesday 26th by, I can choose the time to be every Wednesday 26th by 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And I can repeat it on weekly basis, every Wednesday, since my class will hold for like maybe 8 weeks or 9 weeks. I can just do that repeatedly. And then I will say add Google Meet. I don't really need to do this because yesterday we all learned about Google Meet. So I'm not going to be teaching us Google Meet. So once this is ready, I copy the link of this my meeting, and then I save it. That there's a meeting that is always going to be holding here. Though I didn't title it. Let me title it. Let me title this. I'll title the meet. I'll say GST 107 class. So this link is always available for me. This and following events. Oh no, just this event. And then this link, I'll go back to my classroom. In my stream, I want to communicate with my students. So I'm going to type, dear GST10 students, dear students, please use this link to join the GST 107 class every Wednesday. So this means that you as a lecturer, every Wednesday, you are available for this class. So I'll paste the link there and I'll post. Immediately I post, my dear students, now on this workshop, can you check your Google Classroom? You will see that this will be showing right there for you. You will see this on your screen. But there's something I may just need to tell you before we continue. Just like Facebook and Instagram and all that, when students start posting into this place, when students start posting into this your stream, relevant information may just pass away. Permit me to use that word. So you want to be able to restrict only yourself to be the one making comments on that your stream. So what I'm going to do here in the settings is I'm going to say on the stream, students can post and comment. No, I don't want students to be able to post, but I want students to comment. Maybe when I post, I want them to comment under my post. That way I keep the stream organized for everybody. So you just change your settings and save. Once you save, it helps you. So no student can actually post on that stream, but they can comment on my. So right now from where you are, please, I need somebody to just reply okay and say, okay, let me use my other student's browser. This is the other student that actually registered. So as a student, I'm going to refresh my page because my lecturer has added some things I want to see. So if you look at it now, wow, you can see. So you can see now that students can actually post on the stream. You see this student, Folashade Ajagbe, this student was able to post because I had not changed my settings. But if the student tries to post now again, the student may not be able to post. But the students may be able to what? Respond to my post. So I'm going back to the lecturer view. And then, now that we have all of that set, I have now taught you how to create course material. I've also taught you how to schedule a class and actually teach. So it's assumed that I've actually taught history of libraries. We have done that in Google Meet. And now I want to give my students an assignment. Excuse me. So here goes my assignment button. I'll click on the assignment for week 1. And then I will title this assignment number 1. Always, I know in a physical setting, as lecturers sometimes, we actually do not title and tag all of this. But when you are online, it's very important that you properly name your classes, you properly name everything. It helps you to get a very good summary at the end of the day, such that if you need to do a report, you are able to say you actually gave out 3 assignments and you need the grading of all those assignments. You'll be able to see everything and calculate the cumulative. So in assignment number 1, I'm going to say, dear students, find attached your first assignment for the semester. And if you look at the right hand of this table, actually, you will see that there's something that said points. You know, as a lecturer, you may want to give your students assignments without scoring them, so you can choose unmarked. You don't need to mark it. You just want to get them engaged. But in this case, I want to actually grade these assignments. So I'm going to say I'm giving you 30 over 30 for this assignment if you get it right. And because I don't want you to do it at your own convenience, I'm going to choose a date. And I'll say, submit this assignment on the 28th, that's today, before, I'm going to fix a time now. I'll say before, what do I call it? 12, 13, 14, 1400. That's before 2 p.m. I need this assignment submitted. So the topic, I'm going to, under history of libraries. Then, very good, here goes rubric. This rubric is actually a new feature in Google Classroom. If I want to explain Google Classroom rubric right now, it may take me a whole lot of time that I may not focus on the basic. So what I did is, on my slide, which I have sent to the organizer, he will send it to you. Click on this link here, which is on the slide, to watch a very short video about how to use the rubrics. Now, I did not want to explain this because every lecturer has, and every university has their grading pattern. Some may assign 3 points for grammar construction. Some may say you lose 2 points for errors in spelling and all that. That is what this rubric is all about. It is scoring guide. You just program the scores you want for each response of the student, so that the student is able to see how he attained a particular score that you graded him. So that is for this. So everything here is clear. Now you can see here that I have 2 classrooms here. I'll say yes, this is the classroom. And if I say this assignment I want to give, I can actually assign it to all my students, or I can say, okay, some students actually did it already, so I can only assign it to a student who said he was sick and could not take this assignment. So you can actually select the students you're assigning it to. So I'm going to assign it to all students, and then I'm going to create it. So at this point, what I'll do is I'll create an assignment. There are different ways you can create an assignment. You can either attach the file, which is the assignment, or you create a new one. Now, for instance, I'm going to do the both of them. I'm going to create a new one, which is number 1. First of all, I will start by opening my Microsoft Word. Please mute your microphone. Please mute your microphone. Excuse me. Please mute your microphone. Assignment 1. Okay, so in a physical classroom, as a lecturer, what you would have done would have been, maybe in your slide, you would put the assignment there, or you would write it on the board saying, write a brief note on the history of libraries. So this is an assignment, for instance. This is an assignment question, and then I'll save it as always save with names you can identify properly with. GST 107 assignment 1. I'm going to save this to my desktop so I can collect it easily. So I'm going to close this, and then, so now I can actually attach this file. So I'm going to click on attach. Pardon the network. Omorodion, are we together online? Can you hear me? Anybody? Oh my God, network is poor. Everybody's complaining. Okay, you're in a meeting too.
So I think Mrs. Sylvester is still having some technical network-related issues anyway, so he should be joining us
Please, I'm very
a minute from
sorry.
now.
It was a network-related issue, like you said. I'm so sorry about that. But I don't think it will happen again.
Okay.
I don't think it will
All right.
happen
Thank you,
again.
Mrs. Sylvester.
Okay. So now you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
So what I was saying is I'm right here on creating the assignment. So I've created the assignment on Google Drive. So, and you know, on Google Drive, you don't need to hit the save button. You just close. I've said, this is what I want the student to answer, to give a brief history of libraries, and I close it. And this assignment is 15 marks. So I will now assign the assignment. So every one of you who are my students right now, if you check your stream, you will see that your lecturer has given you an assignment. So I'm clicking on my stream, and then on my stream, I can see that Mr. Sylvester posted a new assignment for week 1 based on after the lecture. So let's go to the student view, what the student actually sees. I'm going to do this so that you as a lecturer, you understand what the student experience actually looks like. So for the student, I'm clicking on this right now. And then this is one of my classes. And then this is me as a student. Don't forget I told you this is the logo. You will know that this is a student view. And I can see that my lecturer provided materials. And I can also see that he gave me an assignment as a student. So what I will do quickly is I can just click on this directly to access the assignment and do the assignment. Or I can go to my classwork and then see everything clearly. Week introduction, week 1, the assignment. This is the assignment icon here. So as a student, I want to take this assignment. I'll do the assignment. And then I'll see that my lecturer has attached a document and it gave an instruction saying, dear student, please see attachment for details of the assignment. So what I do as a student is I click on view assignment. So you see on the student's view now, what I see here as a student is not the same thing the lecturer sees when the lecturer views. This is the lecturer view. If I view my assignment now, for instance, this is the assignment, and then I want to view assignment. If I view the assignment, what I will be seeing is I'm seeing all my students that I assigned this assignment to. None of them has submitted. I assigned to 19 students, and none of them has submitted the assignment. 0 number of students. Take note of this. I'm going back to the student's view, and as a student, I want to answer this assignment question. So what I do is I go here and then I say create or add. So as a student, what I do is I also create a new doc. I create a new document, and then I go into the document, which is the assignment, and then I say question. I could either type question, I could just go through the answer. I could say answer. As a student, you don't need to provide your name. At the other end, I will see your name as a student. But then for universities, you may want to ask your student to provide their matric number, to put their matric number, and then say the answer. That's all they will need. You don't need any other thing. And then they say the history of libraries can be traced to Egypt, ancient Egypt, blah, 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 blah. And the student gives you his answer. And then he turns it in. Turns it means the student is submitting it. But what if the student is not using a Google Drive to prepare this assignment? What we now do, you can turn it in here. So I don't want to submit here because I want to assume that students do not use Google Drive. They prefer to just use their computer to prepare it on Microsoft Word and attach. So So I want to create my own response now on Microsoft Word as a student. And then this is the answer. This is the answer. I'll save it. I'll save it on my desktop as answer to week 1 assignments as a student. And then I save it on my desktop, and then I click on save. And I actually just close the work as a student. Even as a student, I close my Google Drive and go back to my classwork. So here, as a student who is not using Google Drive, I can attach a file. I'll go to uploads, and then I'll browse to my desktop and search for assignment. I think, what did I use to save it? Omorodion. Just forgotten. The file. Can you hear me?
Assignment, yes, we can hear you. Assignment to week 1, I think.
Okay, good, that's it. So I attach it. So you see that I just attached a document, and then I'll cancel this because I don't want to submit this. I'm submitting just one work to my lecturer. So once I am sure that this is my answer to my lecturer's question, I will submit by hand. Or I could just put a comment, and then I'll say, sir, a private comment. I'll tell sir, please, or no, you don't need to lobby for when you submit. Sir, I used MS Word. So just do that. Then if you send it, your lecturer will get that comment alongside with your submission. Then if you also want students to see on the stream, see that comment, this was a private one. If you want them to see, you go use a class comment so that students can also see. I actually used MS Word to submit my assignment. MS Word, because of time, please pardon my typographical errors. As I've said. So once I'm through with all that, I submit by clicking on Handy. Then Google asks me, one attachment will be submitted for this assignment. Am I ready to do that? I'll say yes, I'll hand in. So this is the student view. So let's quickly go back to so student view is submitting. Good. I have submitted my work. As a student, the student has the right to also unsubmit because the deadline, it hasn't gotten to the deadline. The student can just withdraw and make some corrections before the deadline. But once this work has been graded, the student cannot withdraw anymore. So all I need to do now is go back to my lecturer view, and I was, wow, beautiful. I see that 2 students have actually responded, which is me, the demo version, and I am Nosa. Nosa, thank you very much for taking the assignment. So I will click on handing to see those students who actually have submitted their work, and this is it. This is the first person. I'll click on it to see his work as a lecturer to review. And then the work opens, and I see the answer the person gives to me, which we all are aware. So I will review. This is one of the reasons why you need to go and learn more about rubrics. Because, for instance, if it's an essay type of question, for grammar usage, typographical errors with rubrics, you will be able to assign grade for each of all these so that the students will know how you are marking his work. So for this, from my understanding of what this student did now, I'm going to give this student 0/5 because I don't understand. This is a very dull student. So 0/5, I don't understand that. That's not the history of libraries. So then I will tell the student, my dear students, make sure you do well next time and study the material properly. So after sending that, I will post this comment, but privately so that it doesn't disgrace the student on the stream. I'll send this privately to the student, and then I've given the student 0/5. I think that's all. Then I will say, return this. So return means students will be notified and can check any marks you have left. So I will return. This means that I have answered the students. So quickly, the way Google is so sweet because I can see, you see this option here. I can easily just grade all my students quickly here by coming to this top here, this triangle button, and then I will search Who is the other student that has handed in? Good. Nosa has handed in. So let me quickly grade Nosa, who is live now. Nosa dropped a comment for me. She says, "Sir, I used MS Word." Very good. But Nosa, you also did not provide any answer for me on your answer. So I will give you 0/15. Or let me just try for you. Because you attempted, I'll give you 1/15. And then I'll submit it. So Nosa, if you check your dashboard now, you will see that I have... Somebody's mic is distracting me. So Nosa, check your dashboard and you will see that you have actually gotten a score for your assignment. So this is how it works. I have graded them. So I will go now to, I can close this, I grade it. Somebody else has also submitted, but then I'm not going to answer you because you came late. So one has been marked. Take note, Nosa's own is still showing as draft because I have not returned it to her. So what I will do now for Nosa, okay. It has finally gone. Please, somebody is distracting us in the meeting. Please turn off your mic.
Oladele, please turn off your mic. Don't put on your mic, Oladele.
All right. Thank you very much. So, okay, let me go ahead. The distractions though. Oh, who is doing that? So I'll continue. Week 1 assignment, 15 students were assigned this assignment and 2... Okay. So 15 students have been assigned and 2 have been marked. So I'm going to now go to my course again. And at this point, on my stream, we can see that some people made some comments on this particular assignment. When we check it, you see that course material received. Thank you, sir. Course material received. Yes, and all that. So at this point, I'm going to pause. There are a whole lot of other things that happens in a class setting, including carrying out mid-semester tests, all that, which I'm going to take you. But at this point, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to ensure that you are following what I've been doing. Take note, everything I've been saying is currently recording, and with collaboration with Omorodion, I'm going to see how to make this video available so that you can actually watch again. That was why I was actually this fast, because I know a recording will be available where you can pause me. You have the right to pause me anytime you love to do that. So at this point, Omorodion, please, can I hear from anybody that has a question or those questions you have taken? I just need to know that I've been communicating value. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. It has been a very eye-opening. It has been an eye-opening lecture. So I think so far we do not have question on board, but I do have one myself.
Okay.
Yes, I want to ask. This Google Classroom feature is very good, such that we can do a lot of activities online. But does it have a limit to the number of students that can be used in a class? For instance, what's the maximum number of students that can be accommodated in a classroom? Do you know?
This is something you can just Google. The maximum members, teachers and students, is 250. Yes. So, like I said, this is an exchange of knowledge webinar, right? We are all learning, but we have the answer right there, right? That answers your question, Omorodion.
So I guess, yes, it does. I guess it's an eye-opener for every one of us, so yes, we get to know more about the Google Classroom. So I think there is a question here from Olani. Olani is asking if we can actually try using the software, using the free version to practice what has been taught.
Oh, hallelujah. You can actually do that now. Maybe, did he join from the beginning of the class? Because what I said at the beginning was there's Google for Education, which also gets to do with this G Suite for educators, you understand? Now, I said universities can actually purchase this. If you see what is happening on this my own platform now, you see that I am the lecturer. See my classes. I am the lecturer who is managing. I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Good. I am the lecturer and I am managing all the courses that I am taking. I told you you can create different courses. As a lecturer, maybe you are taking up to 3 or 4 courses. You can manage all of them. But one thing is the university does not have control over this because you are using your personal account, which I explained here already. So, and this personal account, like I said before, is not my normal free account, free Gmail account. You don't need to pay for this, and you will be able to teach students, do tests, have access to Google Forms, grade your students. But then there are some special features that are on Classroom that you may not be able to use. For instance, your Google Meet, when you are doing a lecture using your Google Meet video, you won't be able to record your Google Meet video. Just like we are doing now, we can't record this Google Meet video because we are using a free version of Google Meet. But when you have a paid G Suite subscription, you will be able to, there won't be limits. So, Omorodion, I think I've answered this person's question. So you can actually do everything with your free version, but what is recommended is universities should pay and subscribe to G Suite for the university so that everything can be managed. And take note, this option we are recommending now, you know how budgeting is in university. This is for a low budget case. Let money not be an excuse why you as a lecturer cannot carry out academic activities for your students. Let this not be an excuse. So that is why Google is making all these available for free. I think I've answered that question. Hello? Uh-oh. Are you guys sure you heard everything I said? Omorodion, please respond.
We are hearing you. Omorodion we are hearing you.
Okay, Omorodion is having technical issues.
We are hearing you.
Okay, meaning I answered that question now. So, right?
Yes, I've answered the question. There is another question.
Okay.
Can we do exams? How do we do exams for students on Google Meet, please?
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Now, for exams, the question that will come to our mind as academics is, what is an exam? Can we say that a test, an assignment, in a way, is an exam? Can we say a test, a mid-semester, is an exam? If yes, that a mid-semester can be regarded as an exam, then what stops us from doing an exam using Classroom? Because if I can create a test for students using Classroom, why can I not create an exam for them? This is the answer. I cannot create an exam for them on Classroom because I may not be able to monitor them. You understand? Because on Classroom, you give them the opportunity to do it remotely where they are and then answer you. So those are one of the challenges we have with online examinations. Just like every other form of learning management software, students, there's possibility that when you give them this exam, that's a feature called, let me show you the feature you can use to do exam on Classroom. This is the feature. Though the second part of this training, I will explain to you how to do that. So let me show you how to do an exam, for instance. In the Classroom, you can create a quiz. This quiz, though it's called a quiz here, all you need to do is just change the name and call it first semester examination. First semester examination. And then once you create a quiz, a form, having all the questions, option A, option B, and all that, and you send them, you do the normal thing, you send it to the students, and they answer. But let me tell you one of the ways you as an academic or a lecturer can curb against malpractice using this, still on this Classroom, and why you can do your exam successfully here. You can use timing. You give them, for instance, a question, 50, let's say 50 questions. For those 50 questions, if it were to be 2 hours in a physical exam, give them a deadline of 1 hour. You will see that they will be rushing to answer that question. So it is only a student who may not be very smart that would want to, in a bulk of 50 questions, you want to be spying to do all that. And there's also another way lecturers can make students do this thing, and then the whole exam process won't be seen as faulted. The kind of questions you set for students virtually also determines the kind of answers you get. There's a way I would set, probably, is it what we call rhetoric questions? I don't know. But then there's a way you can set your question that even if your student carries that material that you have given to them, they may not be able to see the answer there. It requires each person to use their head and provide the answer. So, sir, the answer to that question is, to an extent, yes, you can use Google Classroom to do an exam, but preferably, it's you should use other learning management software. For instance, my university, Admiralty University, we use ClassMarker. We do not use Classroom for examinations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. We're really grateful for these enlightenments, and we are very much appreciative of the knowledge that has been shared. So at this junction, before Mr. Sylvester proceeds, I would like, if there's any other question, you can ask your question. And for those of you just joining us, this workshop is organized by Samuel Adegboyega University Library. Samuel Adegboyega University is a faith-based university owned by the Apostolic Church, Lona Territory. And it's our pleasure to be able to contribute to knowledge, to see that we help bridge the digital gap, especially as the use of emerging technologies for teaching and learning. And aside from using our individual learning management system, it's important that we have the necessary skills to use these free tools, because these tools are open for use. Because, for instance, like the Google Classroom, which she has taught us about today, it's actually open. We can actually test run it or use it from our own personal account. Then we can merge it with our own institutional model. For instance, in Samuel Adegboyega University, we have our own model which we also use for learning. But I feel we can use both of them at different times based on flexibility and suitability. So thank you very much, Mr. Sylvester. So in the absence of any other,
if possible,
okay, at this junction, I would like to invite Dr. Ajala. Dr. Ajala, the University Librarian of Samuel Adegboyega University, to give his comments. Dr. Ajala.
Well, I appreciate Mr. Sylvester so much pertaining to the lecture of today. One of the reasons why I asked the question about exam, in South Africa, we use some of these online lecture materials to examine students. But as he has said, we have to determine what type of questions we ask them. I am saying this because of our lecturers in different institutions of learning. A lot of people have told us that using Zoom, Google Meet, you can't use it for exam. But Mr. Sylvester has debunked that today. We can use it to examine our students and to grade them, which is a very leap forward in our teaching process. We use it on several occasions, but as he has said, we have to determine the type of questions we ask. I ask my students questions and I ask them to take the notes by their side while they are writing their exam. So there is no reason why you need to peep into another man's paper or you do exam malpractices. I've asked you to take your note while you are answering my questions. Take your note with you, which means that your note is not the answer to the questions I'm
Hello? We can't hear you anymore, please. Omorodion, sir, we can't hear you anymore.
Yeah, I think his audio is having issue.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you. So what I'm saying is, please, let's start to think out of the box and try to reform the way we teach. It has to be robust, and the way we do exams, so that we will start asking questions. When you look at exam questions, you discover that people ask what they are taught, and they expect students to give them verbatim things that are in the notes, which is not the test of them. Try to test the knowledge of students, and this will help us better to assess our students in a better way. Thank you, Mr. Sylvester, and thank you to everybody. I want to appreciate Mrs. Okuonghae and so many other people that I can't mention, who are all very important.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajala, for that beautiful remarks. We really appreciate the privilege, the opportunity to learn and to bridge the digital gap. Thank you very much. Dr. Ajala is the University Librarian of Samuel Adegboyega University Library, and we are privileged to have you. So, Mr. Sylvester, I think you still have the floor, so you can proceed now.
Okay, so you can still see my screen, right?
Mr. Sylvester, can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry, my mic was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you, so you can proceed.
And you can see my screen too, right?
Yes, we can see your screen.
So I actually needed to take that break to ensure that we were understanding everything. And from the questions, I just had the opportunity to go through the chat section. I now see that we are getting it already. So, but please, I want to emphasize here, and I just want to should I say, second the motion or the points the university librarian has given, saying that we need to start looking at how to use classroom for all of our academic activities. Sir, this is very, very possible. And I want to even recommend, not even for, especially for institutions, like I've said, that do not have the enough funds. Lecturers on your own, with this, you can keep in touch with your students so that when schools finally resumes, especially public schools, some private schools are currently going on right now, but some public schools are not actually doing anything. Classroom is something, if not for the size of it, to an extent, you as a lecturer, sometimes your students may not be more than 200, but you can just start using all these, assess them before school gets back to normal. So this is just a recap to show you the links that will be useful. Maybe I'll do my best to share with you this slide at the end. These are the links that you need. I saw somebody saying he doesn't know how to access it, and they are asking if it's for free. Please use the correct link. So use classroom.com. This is what you should use to create your own classroom with your Gmail account. So I'm going to continue from where I stopped, and where I stopped was here, the assignment. I've successfully graded an assignment, and then let's go to GST 107, everything in the class now. So now we want to do a test. We want to do a mid-semester test. So I'm going to create. So please take note, just what you did for week 1 as a lecturer, that's how you just do all your lectures till you finish all the course content for that course, GST 107. You create topics, I told you how to create topics, and then you give assignment for each topics, and if there needs to be for a test for each, okay, no, it's a mid-semester test for just this course. So I'm going to create a quiz assignment, and then I'm going to call it mid-semester test. And then I will say this test is part of or this test is your continuous, this test is your CA, it forms part of your requirement and all that, all those grammar, whatever you need to put, please just put it there. So, for this test, I'm going to assign the particular score, the total points for this test. The total points for this test will be 50 marks. And then, because it's a test, and just like what we said, so I saw somebody asking a question, how do you curb against cheating doing online exams? Now, let me show you my own suggestion. I'm not saying it's the best. I gave only 2 suggestions. The kind of questions you should ask shouldn't be questions that will make them just go and spy the answer. So the date of the exam will be 25th. The due date and the time will be, now the time is currently 12:30, so I want them to be through with the test in 1 o'clock. So I say 1 o'clock. So it's a 30 minutes test. And then it's a test for, I can put it under this topic. And I think everything here is fine. So what I will do, because Google has a whole lot of tools that you can walk around with, please take note of this. What you use to create a test or a quiz is forms. Now, I can easily just create it using this form here on the classroom, but I will not have some features because it is a free account. So I want to personally design how I want my test to be like for these students. So I will go to forms.google.com. Somebody's microphone is on, please turn it off. Forms.google.com. So I'm going to create a blank form. And then I'm going to call this mid-semester test. And then I'll name it mid-semester test. Then maybe I'll just give a brief description there. Okay, not a brief description, instruction. So the instruction, you put instruction here, how you want students to. So I'm going to ask, and in creating forms, I'm also going to use this opportunity to teach you forms because that was one of the things the organizers asked me to do. In creating forms, just look at the steps I'm using to create forms right now. I'm going to ask, define library in your own words. Now, this is a way to make sure that I tell them not to use my definition, not to go and copy my work. And how do I want them to answer to this, my question? In this part, click on this triangle, you will see different options available. Because I want them to provide a paragraph, a sentence, I'll use paragraph. But if it's just a short answer I want, I'll click on short answer. So I'll click on paragraph, and then that is one. To make the job faster for me, okay, sorry, there was something I didn't show you. This is just an ordinary form. It is not a test. Click on this settings button here and convert this form to a quiz so that you'll be able to grade it. If you don't do this, you will not be able to grade their responses. Their responses will just come to you as responses. So what we'll do here, you set up how your quiz you want it to be. Now, if the tests you are giving to your students are just objective, which normally 100 level courses in some institutions are just objective, and they just multiple choice questions. But in this case, I don't want to make it multiple choice questions, because if you make it multiple choice questions, the system is able to automatically grade it once their answer is correct. And right there and then, they will get the answer, the total score they acquired for the test. If you leave it here, release mark immediately after each submission. But then, because there's going to be questions that would require them to use their head, I want to manually mark their responses. So they cannot get their responses immediately until I grade it. Then you just check all these, send them, and then you save. Once that has been saved, you now see that the form automatically collects their email address, because you don't want one student submitting responses twice. So once the student at the other end submits his response, he won't be able to submit another response with that same email. If he submits with another email, then, and he's not your student in your class, then he can't even have access to all this. So once you have typed the question, the answer is there, then you see this answer key. This is where you assign what points are you giving to this question. You click on it, and then you say, for this question, I am assigning 10 marks. Then I'm going to add the feedback. Then at the end of the day, for me, I think you should put your marking scheme here. So you say, I expect students, this is your marking scheme, this is the feedback. You may just provide the answer of that question to the student. You say, libraries are repositories of knowledge. You just give, this is like your marking scheme. So such that when the student finally gets the response, he sees that, oh, this is how I should have answered the question, and this is why I failed it, and all that. It's just like a correction and information. So I'm going to save this. So on this question, now you see that I've edited all the settings, I've provided the feedback, and I've assigned the points, and then I'll say done. So this particular question now is 10 points, and I will make it a compulsory question. Then I can duplicate this question to save me the stress of programming the points. So I can say duplicate, and then the next question, I will say, this next question, also a question, I will say, your friend just gained admission into the university. Explain to him why you think the use of library course is very important. Now, to help him throughout his stay in the university. Now, this kind of question, we all know that you need the students to list out the importance or relevance of use of library course. That is it. If you say it that way, the students will have to go and copy what you gave them in your slide. Now, this kind of question will require the student to explain practically how all this. So this helps you to grade the student. So I'm just going to duplicate. Then I will check so here I may just change the feedback and put something else on the feedback and save. So I'm just going to duplicate all these questions. Because of time, I'm not going to be doing all that. So I'm going to duplicate this question, and I'll change what is an academic library. I need to do 5 questions, which is 50 points. And then I create another one. What is a library resource? What are library resources? Then the last question is differentiates between a library and a bookshop. Oh no, all these questions are just paragraph questions. Why don't I use multiple choice questions? Good. So multiple choice questions. I can say, what is another name for a patron? So in the option here, I can say user, I can say clientele, I can say patient, and then that's it. And then take note, for this multiple choice, you have to set the correct answer. Okay, there's no need to set the correct answer. Okay, yes, this is the correct answer. For this multiple choice, it can actually The correct answer here is user or clientele. So I think I have to delete. There are two correct answers there. So I'm going to delete one of them. I'll change this to man. So I'll go back to edit and say the only correct answer here is user, and this is 10 points. So that's it. So let us stop here. I think I have 5 questions already. And then for exam purpose, let me also teach you something for exam purpose. Because there are some courses that are mathematics, take note, we're using use of library, but let's say you're a mathematics lecturer and you need the students to do some representation, show some calculation. You can tell the student to insert worksheets or workings here. Take note, this now requires the students to put a picture. So you click on the triangle here, and it tells you the students will need to upload pictures. So you now say, yes, continue. You have to specify the kind of pictures you want the students, the kind of document the students needs to attach. Allow only specific types of files. So in this case, I think you should allow the students upload pictures. That is because they are going to use their phone to snap what they have done and attach. So you say image, so that they don't start uploading documents. This field will only accept image. So then you say maximum number of files. Sometimes you may say 5 because they may have different pages. Then the maximum size of files per file should be at least 10 MB, so that, take note, everything the students will send to you goes to your Google Drive, and Google Drive has only given you as a free user 15 gigabytes. So you want to be able to restrict students to the size of documents they send. And for this, you also this you don't need to assign a point, because this is just to help you collect their workings. And then you say this is required. And then this is it. You are true. So, and then this is everything for the test or exam that you have set, and then we close. You know, on Google, you don't need to press Ctrl S, so I close. And then I go back to the place where I was creating the mid-semester test. I'm going to remove this template here, and then I'm going to say add my own, I'm going to add my own form from my Google Drive. From my Google Drive, if I check my Google Drive, I just did a recent document, and this is it, mid-semester test. I'll click on it, and then I'll say insert. So take note of what happens. The whole of that form I created now came into this assignment that I'm preparing. I'm going to cancel this because it's just one. Mid-semester test, it came in here, and the total points is 50. Make sure this total points corresponds with the points you assigned here. And once this is done, I will click on assign. So all my dear students, please check your dashboard. You have now been given your examination for the semester, or your test for the semester. So this is a student for my demonstration students. Let's go to my demonstration students. My demonstration students goes to classes and selects the exact class, which is 107, and then he sees that on the stream, Sylvester, his lecturer, has, has posted, I'm refreshing my page as a student. Good, I refreshed, and now I can see as a student that my lecturer has posted mid-semester test. So quickly, because there is a duration, it says due today, I have to submit before 1 p.m., and my time is going. As a student, I need to click it urgently, and then I will see everything here. So it tells me, okay, take test. So I'll just click on it quickly to quickly take the exam. So if I want to be a very unsmart student, I will start thinking of how to spy. Meanwhile, my time is going. So I need to enter my email address here, sesdec2c@gmail.com. Then I will start answering the question. Define library in your own words. I don't know, sir. You know, there are some students who can be this funny. I don't know. Or they can say, sir, you didn't teach us. You didn't teach us. Then secondly, you see the second question. Your friend just gained admission. Maybe let's assume the student understands this, is able to express himself. Then what is an academic library? Libraries in universities is able to explain this. And then for this one, he fails it. He doesn't know. And then he's true. And then he sees this option that says you have to attach all your workings. So I'll click on add, and then the student needs to select the file from his or her device. He goes to where there are pictures, and then the student attaches what? A picture. Please pardon me to use this picture, Koha, as my working. So the students attach that picture, and then the student says upload. So it's assumed that this student has finished answering the question and he clicks on submit. So take note, mid-semester test, response submitted, and assignment marked as done. The student cannot edit this like an assignment in the other cases. So because it's a one-time thing. So in this case, if I open this assignment, I'm going as a lecturer, I'll go to my view now to see students who have actually taking the test. I know there are some smart students in this webinar, so I think some of you may have been taking the test already. If you can, take it. So I'll go to my classwork, and then I will see my mid-semester test. Week one assignment, use of library, mid-semester test, and then I click on mid-semester test. And as you can see here, as usual, this mid-semester test was assigned to 19 students. Only one has submitted so far. So I will click on this one to see and quickly assess him. Then don't forget that the assessing for this student is not automatic, it is manual. So I will click on this form, it will open to see what the student has done. So as a lecturer, you know how to use forms. You click on edit. Because when you click on edit, that is the only way you can see the responses of those who participated, who took this mid-semester test or exam. So let's check the responses now, and then you will see a summary of all the people that responded. But then our concern now is individual. We'll check by individual. And this is the person who submitted, the individual that submitted. So we are about to grade this person. You just take note here that this person, for this, the tactics you can use that I make use of here, because it is a manual grading, you just come here and you assign, these libraries are repositories of knowledge. Okay, this person said you didn't teach us, so this person is getting a 0. Then I said this person has an idea, is getting a 5. You assign 5. What is an academic library? This person gets a 0. A 0. And then what is another name for a patron? Can you see that because we had already programmed this multiple choice question, the computer, Google knows that the correct answer is user, and the student ticked man. So the student already has an automatic 0. So, and then you can see here that the student sent his picture of his workings. So from here, you cannot see that the total score that this student got was actually, so when you click on release scores, you can actually send this to your students. But this is not what we actually need. From what we have here in summary, you can see that this student got a total of 5. The grading is actually here per student. Okay, somebody else is here who has submitted. But then please, let's go back to classroom and see how to grade. So for instance, This is the students that we CC Tech Council. This is the students that we just graded. What I will do here now is I will insert manually what these students scored, and I will say, I can't recall the figure there, and I'll say the students got 5 over 50, and then I will have to submit just like I did in the assignment. I will return. Then for Flora, I'm assuming that I've checked Flora's work. Okay, let's see Flora's work. Who is a participant right now? Oh, can you see Flora Olaniyi handed in late? So I can't see her work. I cannot see her work right now. Daniel, we all did our assignments late. So let's see. Let's still try to grade these people. Return. You as a lecturer, you can still grade them. Even if they return late, you can decide to do that. So once all this is done, we can now close. It's assumed that I've graded some students. I can now close this tab and go to my GST 107 course. So at this point, I think I've answered the basic questions. These are the basic activities that happens in a classroom setting. These are everything that happens in the classroom setting: creating assignments, sending materials, we have done that, carrying out tests and exams, we have done that. So you see that there's nothing else in Google Classroom that you need to do. The other thing that is here that you need to do is the people, managing students. We have also done all that. Then if you want to see a summary of everything you are doing for the UL that asks, how can you use this to grade? So here you can be able to see week 1, the class average performance of students. You are able to get the class average. You are able to see that Augustine Adegboyega did not take the assignment or the test. You can see here that Daniel did his own late and you didn't give him a score. Flora, you didn't give her a score. You gave Israel a score, but he did his own late. So the Senate committee may now decide what to do with somebody who submitted late. And then that's for exam. Then for the assignments, you can see also, this is a dashboard that just gives you a report, a summary of everything in your class. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you that this is everything about Google Classroom that you need to know. And I've tried my best. Pardon my own manner of teaching. My manner of teaching is actually practical. I show it to you the way you should do it. And I think I've done my best to show you exactly what Google Classroom is used for. But your questions may help me answer specifically what is not clear. So once again, I say thank you very much, Mr. Omorodion.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Thank you very much. I mean, this is an eye-opener for many of us.
Yeah.
Some of us may have been using Google Forms before now, but we may not have been familiar with the various features, the full functionalities of these tools, and we are grateful for enlightening us on the use of these technologies. And we have some questions on the chat box, but before then, I also have mine. And before I ask my question, I will give room for Dr. Ajala. Dr. Ajala has a comment to make. Dr. Ajala, over to you, sir.
Well, I still want to thank for what he has done. He has done very good work this morning. But I just add that a lot of work on our students on the usage of this online equipment for teaching. Maybe during the time we meet with them physically, there should be a period where all our students should,
because if you as a lecturer know how to use it,
hello, sir.
And your student, you as a lecturer know how to use it, and your student cannot use it, a very serious issue. We won't be able to reach them properly. So I will advise that immediately God give us the grace, we go back and we are able to meet our students. Let's make it a point of teaching to teach them how to do some of this.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Mr.
Sylvester,
a very strict teacher.
I pity his students. They will just be getting 0, 3 of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajala. Thank you, especially for the last remark. I would have accepted one of the but I was afraid Dr. Ajala would. I was afraid Mr. Sylvester would give me 0, so that was why I didn't accept it. So thank you very much, Mr. Sylvester. Can you hear us?
Promote me to doctor.
Mr. Sylvester, I need to know if you can hear us. Please.
Promote me to doctor. I will accept it coming from Adegboyega.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So I didn't attempt your question because I was afraid you give me 0. And I don't want to get 0. So thank you very much. So I think we'll just go straight to the questions now. Let's start with Researcher. Researcher was asking a question that how will the student know that he needs to upload image? You know, one of the questions you said, the feedback was that they should upload image. I think the file gives room for upload, or how would they know which of the formats they are expected to upload, whether it's document, image, or docs file, or PDF?
Okay, let me quickly answer that. You see that part of, I said in that picture, the way these things work, I wasn't hearing clearly what the UL was saying, but I think he was talking about the need for teaching students, just as we are teaching lecturers. So
yes, that was it.
But then there is something you need to do. I even wrote it down and I said I must say it here today. As a lecturer, you see in that Google Classroom, there are places where it says description for everything you are doing. Always describe what you want students to do. Because you are not the only. That's why what I was teaching you today, I didn't teach you just from the teaching part. I was showing you how it looks like from the students and how a student will respond. So for instance, on this form now, look at it here now. On this form, if I were a lecturer and I want students to say insert worksheet here, I will click on this option here that says description. And then I will specify. I'll say, please insert only image here. Use your phone to snap your workings and every form of information you need to give the students, and ensure it is not larger than 2 MB per file. You understand? And then the students, at the other hand, let us preview this now and see what this looks like for the students. See now, for the students, you see the student is able to see this. After reading this, the students know what is expected of him or her to do, and then he adds it. So because of time, I may not be able to give you a very good form that can be used for exam purpose. You can see some typographical error and all that. That is because we are online. So, but when you are planning to do this officially, take your time and provide all the information that is needed to guide the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. I think that's very comprehensive and clear. I actually want to ask, for lecturers who do not use, who, for instance, they are not engaging their students with the Google Classroom, but they also want to assess their students using that Google Forms, which you created. So they can actually create it separately. Is there a way they can give out the information, the links to the students without going to Classroom to engage the student? Let's assume they're not using Classroom.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, for lecturers who do not use Google Classroom at all, yes, you can make your students take their tests or assignments online. Now take note, this is what I would do. For instance, I'm not using this classroom now. I want to go to, I'm just pretending like I'm a normal user. This is a new tab, as you can see. So I'll just go to forms.google.com and I will create a new form as usual, normally. And then don't forget, you have to turn it into a quiz. Make it a quiz, and this quiz is going to be a multiple. The users, I want my students to get the answers immediately. So my questions will be multiple choice based. Automatically, if they get it right, they will get their scores immediately. So I will use this option, and then I will go to I will save. And then let's assume this is my test and this is my question. I've done everything. I've added another option, add option, all, and I want them to answer. And I've programmed what the correct answer should be. Correct option is 1. I do all that. So what I will make sure I do is I will click on this send button, because you said you want to send it to your students who are not a classroom. So all you need to do, you see this button here, you click on it, it gives you the link of this form. Sometimes, personally for me, I always say, long links are boring for me. I always do my best to shorten my link. And I don't just stop at shortening my link, I customize my link using another software called bit.ly or tinyurl, which is a story for another day. So with this, I copy this link. So I'm going to send this link now to webinar participants here. Check your chat session. You will see the link. Take online test. You see the link. So if any of the participants here clicks on the form which I have just sent, please, any of you just try to answer it, or there's no time for that. I think I've answered the question. So yes, as a lecturer, you can create this and you will be able to see students' responses. And from here, it's just that Classroom helps you to get a report of all the grading. But in this case, you now have to carry paper and start taking notes of all the grades. Or no, sorry, because we're talking about paperless society. You can actually continue by creating a spreadsheet. I just noticed that one student has responded, and this student is having 0 again. Kai, I'm really a strict lecturer. Oh my God. So what you do is, if all my 19 students actually click this response, what I will do is I will create a spreadsheet out of their response, all their names. I will create a spreadsheet. So on this spreadsheet, see what will happen. Can you see? Somebody actually answered at so time. Okay, he didn't even get any score because he did not answer anything. That was why he got 0. So I can just put my 0 there automatically. Okay, you know Excel does not show 0, so I'm going to program, put hyphen, apostrophe there and put 0. So you see the 0 is now showing. So, and the student choose option 1, I put the score there 0. So that's how everybody, all the other students, once they show here, they are going to get their 0, which I'm known for. All the students, their options which they use. So that's how it works. So you see that with Google Classroom, or this now is not even Google Classroom. With Google, you can actually do without paper as a lecturer. Even if it is project work, they can submit their project work using Classroom. And then you can, though there's no time to teach all that, you will never have to see your students face to face. You will never have to use red biro to mark that student's work. There's a way you can add comments just like you use review on Microsoft Word. And life just gets easy. Who doesn't want this?
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Thank you very much. We still have another question on the chat box, I think from Dr. Bomo. Dr. Bomo and Adebisi, they seem to have similar questions. They are concerned about questions, when asking questions that has to do with calculations. For instance, Dr. Bomo asks, does it mean that students will do their workings on the personal sheets offline if they are doing a calculation, for instance, on statistics?
Okay. Now, this is what you do. For instance, what if, I think I was expecting another question in line with that to say, let me show you let me share my screen so that you see. Thank you very much, Dr. Ogbombo, She's my mentor, actually. Thank you very much for that question. So I'm going to share my screen so that I'll show you what to do for mathematical, statistical representation or solutions. This is what you can do. And please take note, there's no one particular way. That was why at the beginning of my slide, I said academics, we need to be creative in thinking and provide solutions tactically. So here's my screen. It's sharing now. My screen is sharing now. So what I'm going to do in this particular form that I called mid-semester test, I want to insert one more question that will require, let me go and insert it down. This particular question will require calculations. So as a lecturer, what I can do is, since I cannot put equations here for my students to answer. Now, this is not what Google told me to do, but then it's just your creative thinking. How can you find solution to this? I can go here and instead of typing a question or formula there, I will insert an image. And in this case, let's say what I will do is where is the image? I'm looking for an image. Sorry, I'm looking for any image on my computer. Any image on my computer. Okay, this is an image on my computer. So what I mean by this image is, as a lecturer, what the students will see is a picture. And this picture will be you. That means you have written the formula clearly, boldly, and you snapped it. You drew a formula, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a mathematician, but then you did some quadratic equations and all that, and you say, what is X, and all those kind of things. And then you want the students to solve this and get back to you. In the response, you change the student's response to pictures too. The student's response in this case, you have to change it from multiple choice to file upload. And then you say continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you now see that, okay, yes. You say, you have to tell them that it has to be a picture, and then those settings we did the first time, you actually want just one and all of that. Then you say, yes, it's a required question. And then let us see how this looks for the students. So this is how this looks for the students. This picture is that calculation that you have done as a mathematical lecturer or a statistical representation. You've done it there. And then here is their response. As a student, this is their response here. They will have to click here, their response which they have written down on the paper, on a plain paper. Advise them to always use a plain paper so that everything is clear, and make sure they snap it clearly. This should be in your description. Tell them to make sure they snap it clearly. And then they will add the file and submit their work. I think I've demonstrated this before. So Dr. Ogbomo and every other person that asked question related to this is how you can go around calculations using Google Classroom or just using Google Forms. But there's something I did not say, especially for maybe if there are vice chancellors here or university heads here or HODs here. One thing you should know, if you are conducting a test online for students like this, you may want to be monitoring them. You can give them a link and tell them you want to be seeing them while they are doing that exam. So you must make sure that while they click on the link to do their test, make sure that they are signed in on Google Meet or Zoom or any of those video conferencing tools. Those video conferencing applications is just for you to monitor them, be looking at them, whether they are actually having somebody assist them or doing something else. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Thank you for that comprehensive response. Thank you very much. I'm sure Dr. Ogbomo and our DPC would have been satisfied with the response. So I think without wasting much time, I think we are rounding up now because we've covered basically what we need to cover as regards assessment and interaction, student engagement. So I think we don't really have any other questions. For those of you who may not have gotten the presentation because of network or the other, if you have any issues trying to use any of the tools that have been taught within the past 2 days, you can always reach us at Samuel Adegboyega University Library. I'll be more than happy to guide you and put you through. You can always send a mail to the email address where you received the link to this section. I will be more than happy to help you and guide you. So I hope that answers the question. And the concern for us basically is that you get the knowledge. We are not after the certificate, issuing of certificate. We are more concerned about you getting knowledge and practicing it, because that's the goal. That's why we had to limit this session to only lecturers in Nigerian universities, because in the end, we hope that they will be able to put this knowledge into practice. So without much ado, I would like to give room to, okay, Mr. Sylvester.
Okay, Mr. Omorodion, I want to just officially say thank you so that I can hand over to you to respond. So this is the last part of my slide. Like I said, I'm going to try to make this particular slide available and the recording available. I want to say thank you to the UL and thank you to you, the program coordinator, for having me do this. And I also want to emphasize that this collaboration, this work that we do as librarians to inform and provide technical usage of apps to users, because our service actually is to humanity, and I really appreciate that this collaboration, and I will be available at any time on behalf of the Admiralty University Library to collaborate in future. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Thank you very much. So we really appreciate your availability and the generosity in knowledge sharing. We appreciate you. And we also very much appreciate our participants. For as many participants who have been here for the so we are grateful. Mr. Sylvester, our investor librarian would have a word with you after the section. So we are very grateful. So before we leave, I want a remark one of the participants.
Mute one of your microphones.
One of the participants, I would like it. Yeah, we are muting now. So I would like one of the participants to just unmute and give a short remark regarding the two-day program that we've had.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm Dr. Rishajo. Hello, I'm Dr. Rishajo. I actually thank Samuel Adegboyega University for the opportunity to have this training. And I thank Mr. Sylvester for the wonderful training. He's a teacher indeed and a good facilitator. So I thank the University Librarian too for the privilege of having something like this. It's so wonderful. Please extend our greetings to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ebhonu, for giving us the platform. Thank you, Mr. Omorodion, as well. I'm so grateful. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Rishajo. We are glad to have you, and we are happy that you have benefited from this section. Okay, we can give him to another participant to also appreciate or give a remark.
Hello.
Hello, can hear you. Hello, can hear you, Dr. Bomo. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma.
Yeah, we, on behalf of myself and the other participants, we are very grateful to the management of Samuel Adegboyega University, with particular reference to Dr. Ajala, the University Librarian, and Omorodion, the Facilitator, and most especially to Mr. Sylvester Ebhonu, our speaker for today, and that's our speaker of yesterday too. In no measure, we have learned a lot as lecturers and teachers in various disciplines. We are indeed grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bomo. Thank you. We so much appreciate you. Dr. Bomo is the immediate past HOD of the Department of Library and Information Science, Delta State University, Abraka. So thank you very much, our dear participant. It has been a wonderful today, and I believe we can put what we have learned within the past 2 days into practice. With constant practice, I believe we can master this, and the features, the interface are quite easy for us to use if we actually put it into practice. So it has been a very wonderful time with you. And on behalf of Samuel Adegboyega University Library, we appreciate you. And we hope that this will only be the beginning of more knowledge sharing and collaboration among universities in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we'll be wrapping up here. Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Really appreciate you for the presentation. It was a beautiful presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So enjoy your day. Bye.
And you too. Bye, everyone. From here, it's bye.